So here's the table of content. What are ancestors? Benefits of learning about them. Animals and their ancestors. Bird. Are birds and dinosaurs actually related? Fun facts and the end of presentation. There will be some fun facts in between the presentations. So yeah. Okay. What are ancestors? Ancestors are the people from whom you're descended. They include your parents, grandparents, great grandparents, and so on. Your ancestors may have lived in the same country or region as you, or they may have come all from all over the world. Benefits of learning about them. Here are some of the benefits of learning about your ancestors. It can help you to understand your own identity and heritage. It can give you a sense of connection to the people who came before you. It can teach you about your family history and culture. It can help you to appreciate the sacrifices that your ancestors made for you. It can be fun and rewarding experience. So, animals and their ancestors. So, this wolf is the very first animal we're going to look out for. So, the ancestors of wolves are thought to have been miacids. Wait a second.
Zakir, what happened?
Ma'am, could you please wait a second?
Ma'am, can you hear his voice?
Okay, now it's audible.
Okay, I will present now. Okay, so wolves. So the ancestors of wolves are thought to have been small tree-dwelling carnivores called miacids. Miacids lived about 52 million years ago and were about the size of a weasel. They had long tails, sharp claws, and teeth. Over time, miacids evolved into larger, more wait a second. Okay, more wolf-like creatures. One of these creatures was Hesperosian, which lived about 37 million years ago. Hesperosian was about the size of a coyote and had a long bushy tail. Another ancestor of wolves were Tomoractus, which lived about 20 million years ago. Tomoractus was about the size of a small bear and had a powerful jaw. It is thought to have been a direct ancestor of both wolves and coyotes.
Excuse
Yeah.
me, Zakir, we can't see the screen. We can only see here wolves.
Ma'am,
Are you
I can.
presenting?
No, I'm just kind of explaining.
Okay.
The first true wolves appeared about 1.5 million years ago. These early wolves were very similar to modern wolves, but they were slightly smaller and had less pronounced facial features. Okay, so our next animal is the lions. So let's move on to the lions. The ancestors of lions are thought to have been small cat-like creatures called Prialurus. Prialurus lived about 25 million years ago, about the size of domestic cats. They had long tails and sharp claws and teeth. Over time, predators evolved into larger, more lion-like creatures. One of these creatures was Proto-sirris, which lived about 20 million years ago. Proto-sirris was about the size of a cougar and had a long bushy tail. Another ancestor of the lions was Panthera fossilis, which lived about 5 million years ago. Panthera fossilis was about the size of a modern lion and had a similar build. It is thought to have been a direct ancestor of both lions and tigers. The first true lions appeared about 1.5 million years ago. These early lions were very similar to modern lions, but they had slightly larger teeth and claws. They also had more pronounced mane. Okay, so our next animal is the cheetahs. As you guys know, cheetahs is one of the fastest animals on the planet. So let's check who it came from. The ancestors of cheetah is thought to have been Micronyx. It's actually Miraxonyx. Miraxonyx was a genus of large extinct cats that lived in North America from Pliocene to Pleistocene epochs, about 5.3 to 1.2 million years ago. It was closely related to the cheetah, and the two species are thought to have been diverged from a common ancestor around 6.7 million years ago. Maraxonyx was it was similar in size to the modern cheetah, but it had more robust build and a shorter tail. It is thought to have been a specialized hunter of large herbivores such as bison and horses. The fossil record of Micronyx is relatively complete, and it includes specimens from all over North America. This suggests that Micronyx once was a widely distributed species. However, it disappeared from fossil record around 1.2 million years ago. At the same time, the many other larger mammals in North America went extinct. The exact reason for the extinction of Micronyx is unknown. However, it is thought to have been a combination of factors, including climate change, habitat loss, and competition from other predators such as wolves and coyotes. So our next animal is the eagles. So they are the kings of the sky. So let's discuss about them. The earliest eagle ancestor is Eomorops. Eomorops was a small hawk-like bird that lived in Europe during Eocenic epoch, about 56 to 33.9 million years ago. It had a long tail and sharp claws and teeth. It was thought to have been a forest-dwelling bird that hunted small mammals and reptiles. Aquilus was a larger soaring bird that lived in North America during the Oligocene epoch, about 33.9 to 23 million years ago. It had a wingspan of up to 12 feet and was a skilled hunter of large mammals, such as rabbits and rodents. The first true eagles appeared during the Mesozoic epoch, about 23 to 5.3 million years ago. These early eagles were very similar to modern eagles, but they were slightly smaller and had a less pronounced facial features. Over time, eagles evolved to adapt to different environments. This led to the development of different subspecies of eagles, such as bald eagles, the golden eagles, and the harpy eagles. So the next animal on our list is the crocodiles. So let's start about them. The ancestors of crocs are thought to have been a small group of reptiles called pseudoscians. Pseudoscians lived during the Triassic period, around 250 to 200 million years ago. They were crocodile-like reptiles with long tails and sharp teeth. One of the earliest known pseudoscians is the Proto-sirris. Proto-sirris was a small terrestrial reptile that lived in North America. It had a short snout and a long tail, and it is thought to have been semi-aquatic predator. Over time, crustaceans evolved into more crocodile-like forms. One of these forms is Myorita. Myorita was a small crocodile-like reptile that lived during the Jurassic period. It had a long snout and sharp teeth, and it is thought to have been a semi-aquatic predator too. The first true crocodiles appeared during the Cretaceous period, around 145 million years ago. These early crocodiles were very similar to modern crocodiles, but they were slightly smaller and had less pronounced facial features. So the basic thing is almost all animal ancestors had less pronounced facial features. So our next animal on the list is the sharks. So as we know, sharks are very good predators, but let's check out how they came here. The ancestors of wait a second. No, okay. Ancestors of sharks are thought to have been a group of fish called Acanthorians. Acanthorians lived during the Devonian period, around 420 to 360 million years ago. They were small, fish-like creatures with plated heads and bodies. One of the earliest known Acanthorians was Clear-dorsalech. Clear-dorsalech was a small shark-like fish that lived in North America. It had a long, slender body and a pair of tortuous pectoral fins. Over time, Acanthorians evolved into more shark-like forms. One of these forms is Xenacanthus. Xenacanthus was a large, predatory fish that lived during the Carboniferous period. It had a long, slender body and a pair of pectoral fins. The first true sharks appeared during the Romanian period, around 290 million years ago. These early sharks were very similar to modern sharks, but they had slightly smaller and less pronounced facial features. So the next one on our list is the largest mammal on the planet, the whales. So the ancestors of whales are thought to have been land mammals called Pakicthus, which is so amazing since how it now the whales are actually water aquatic creatures. Pakicthus lived in what is now known as Pakistan about 15 million years ago. It was a small, four-legged creature with webbed feet. Pakicthus had a long tail and a narrow snout, and it is thought to have been a semi-aquatic predator. And it was only the size of a house pet dog. Over time, Pakicthus evolved into more whale-like forms. One of these forms is Ambulocetus. Ambulocetus lived in what is now India about 45 million years ago. It was a larger, more aquatic creature than Pakicthus. Ambulocetus had shorter legs and a longer tail, and it is thought to have spent more time in the water than on land. Another early whale ancestor is the Rhodoccetus. Rhodoccetus lived in what is now Pakistan about 48 million years ago. It was a fully aquatic creature with flippers and fluke. Rhodoccetus is thought to have been the first true whale. Over time, Rhodoccetus evolved into modern whales. We know today. Whales are divided into two main groups, toothed whales and baleen whales. Toothed whales include dolphins, porpoises, and sperm whales. Baleen whales include blue whales, humpback whales, and gray whales. So as you can see, dolphins are related to whales. So the next on our list is the dogs, the most commonly used house pet. So the ancestors of dogs are thought to have been a group of wolves called tamirans. Tamirans lived in Asia and Europe about 15 million years ago. They were smaller than modern wolves and had shorter snouts. Tamiran are thought to have been the ancestors of all modern dogs, including wolves, coyotes, and foxes. Over time, Tamirans evolved into different types of wolves. One of these types is the grey wolf, which is the closest living relative to the domestic dog. The first dogs are thought to have been domesticated from grey wolves about 15,000 years ago. That these early dogs were used for hunting and companionship. Over time, dogs were bred for different traits such as size, coat color, and temperament. This led to the development of many different breeds of dogs that we see today. Today, dogs are one of the most popular pets in the world. They are valued for their companionship, loyalty, and intelligence. Dogs are also used for a variety of working purposes, such as law enforcement, search and rescue, and therapy. Now, the next animal is the elephants. So, the ancestors of elephants are thought to have been a group of small pig-like animals called Myorita Myorita who lived in Africa about 37 to 35 million years ago. It was about the size of a tapir and had a long skull with short trunk. Myorita is thought to have been semi-aquatic and to have fed on aquatic plants. Over time, Myorita evolved into more elephant-like creatures, and one of these forms is Paleomastodon. Paleomastodon lived in Africa about 28 to 23 million years ago. It was about the size of rhinoceros and had a longer trunk than Myorita. Paleomastodon is thought to have been fully terrestrial and have fed on leaves and branches. Another early elephant ancestor is Deinotherium. Deinotherium lived in Europe and Asia about 18 to 1 million years ago. It was the largest elephant ancestor, reaching about 15 feet tall. At the shoulder, Deinotherium had a downward curving tusk that is thought to have been used for digging roots and tubers. The first true elephants appeared about 7 million years ago. These elephants were very similar to modern elephants, but they were slightly smaller. And had less pronounced facial features. Okay, so the next one is one of the relatives of lions, cats. Okay, so the ancestors of cats are thought to have been a group of small tree-dwelling carnivores called miacids. Now, here is a fun fact. Did you know that the very first ancestor of cat, miacids, and the very first ancestor of wolves are actually the same relatives, same guy, same people? Because ancestors of the tree-dwelling creatures as well as the wolves, and they both lived in 52 million years ago and were both the size of weasels. They had long tails and sharp claws, as exactly the same. So over time, miacids evolved into a larger, more cat-like creatures. One of these creatures was Preolus, lived about 37 million years ago. Preolus was the size of a domestic cat and had a long bushy tail. And the Preolus was the first ancestor of lions, which is also related to cats. And there's another myth sold in this paragraph is that we say like the ancestors of cats are used to be lions, but actually the ancestors of lions are cats. So in that way, cats are the older people. Another ancestor of the cat was Proto-sirris, which lived about 20 million years ago. Proto-sirris was about the size of a cougar and had a long bushy tail. The first true cats appeared about 7 million years ago. These early cats were very similar to modern cats, but they were slightly smaller and had less pronounced facial features. Okay, so the next on our list is the owls. So now we are getting into the flying section, like the flying animals, so owls. Ambulocetus was a small uh, uh, arboreal carnivore that lived in North America during Paleocene. It was around 66 to 56 million years ago. It was about the size of a weasel and had a long tail and sharp teeth. Mesoleucian is thought to have been an ancestor of all modern wolves. Over time, mysteriously seen into larger, more owl-like creatures. One of these creatures was Strategiops, which lived in North America during the Eocene epoch, during around 56 to 33.9 million years. Triassic was about the size of modern barn owls and had a shorter and stout beak. Another early owl ancestor is Primordial, which lived in Europe during Eocene epoch, around 56 to 33.9 million years ago. Primordial was about the size of a modern hawk and had a long, slender beak. By the end of the Paleogene epoch, owls had evolved into the modern owl families, Strigidia and Tardidia. Strigidia includes all of the typical owls, such as great horned owls, the snowy owls, and barred owls. The Tritonian includes the barn owls only. So next one on the list is the sea animal called turtles. So yeah, the earliest known ancestor of turtle is Odontochelys. Odontochelys lived in China during the Triassic period. About 230 million years ago, it was about the size of a cat and had a sharp teeth in its upper and lower jaws. Odontochelys also had a shell, but it was not as complete as the shell of modern turtles. Over time, the Odontochelys and its relatives evolved into more turtle-like creatures. One of these creatures was Progonochelys, which lived in Europe during the Jurassic period. About 190 million years ago, Progonochelys had a complete shell and was about the size of a dog. Another early turtle ancestor was Xenotauros, which lived in North America during the Permian period, about 260 million years ago. Xenotauros had a wide, elongated rib cage, but it did not have a complete shell. It was also exclusively land-dwelling and had a full set of teeth. The first turtles appeared during the Cretaceous period, about 145 million years ago. These early turtles were very similar to modern turtles, but they were slightly smaller and had less pronounced facial features. So next are our venomous animals, snakes. So the ancestors of snakes are thought to have been a small group of lizards called Masasauroids. Masasauroids are large marine reptiles that lived during the Cretaceous period, about 145 to 66 million years ago. They had long, slender bodies and a paddle-like lengths. One of these earliest known Masasauroids is Halisaurus. Halisaurus lived in North America during early Cretaceous period, about 145 to 130 million years ago. It was about the size of a dolphin and had a long, slender snout. Over time, Masasauroids evolved into smaller, more snake-like creatures. One of these creatures is the Najash regigrina. Najash regigrina lived in South America during late Cretaceous period, about 99 to 66 million years ago. It was about the size of a modern garter snake and had a long, slender body. It is thought that Najash regigrina and its relatives evolved into first true snakes during the Paleogene epoch, about 66 to 56 million years ago. These early snakes were very similar to modern snakes, but they were slightly smaller and had less pronounced facial features. Okay, the next person animal thing in our list is the frogs. As we know, the frogs are known for their sounds and jumping powers. So the ancestors of frogs are thought to have been a small group of lobe-finned fish called tetrapods. Tetrapods were fish that had fins that had evolved into legs, allowing them to move on land. Tetrapods first appeared about 370 million years ago during the Devonian period. One of the earliest known tetrapods is Ichneumon. Ichneumon lived in Greenland during Devonian. It was about the size of a small crocodile and had a long, slender body with 4 legs. Ichneumon is thought to have been small, semi-aquatic, meaning that it spent both time in water and on land. Over time, Ichthyosaurus and its relatives evolved into more frog-like creatures. One of these creatures is Triabatrachus. Triabatrachus lived in Madagascar during the Triassic period, about 240 million years ago. It was about the size of a modern-day frog and had a short, squat body with 4 legs. Triabodabodatrachus is thought to have been the first true frog. Over the next 200 million years, frogs evolved into a wide variety of shapes and sizes. Today, there are over 7,000 species of frogs found all around the world. Frogs come in different variety of colors, from bright to very camouflaging brown. Some frogs, such as the Goliath frogs, can grow up to 6 feet long, while others, such as the Pterodraphtrine municis, only about 0.3 inches long. So next is the spider. So as you know, spiders are, most people don't like spiders, but anyway, the ancestors of spiders are thought to have been a small group of arachnids called uraniids. Uraniids were small scorpion-like creatures that lived during the Devonian period, about 380 million years ago. They had segmented abdomens and spinnerets, which are the organs that spiders use to produce silk. One of the earliest known uraniids is Atracopus fimbarangus. Atracopus fimbarangus lived in Scotland during the Devonian period. It was about the size of a modern-day spider and had a segmented abdomen and spinnerets. Over time, uraniids evolved into more spider-like creatures. One of these creatures is Pleothelec Montacinus lived in France during the Carboniferous period, about 300 million years ago. It was about the size of a modern-day tarantula and had a segmented abdomen and spinnerets. The first true spiders appeared during the Primary period, about 280 million years ago. These early spiders were very similar to modern spiders, but they had slightly smaller and less pronounced facial features. So next on our list is the ducks. So the ancestors of ducks are thought to have been a group of birds called anseriforms. Anseriforms first appeared during the Cretaceous period, about 145 million years ago. They were small, wading birds with long necks and legs. One of the earliest known anseriforms is Proboscis. Proboscis lived in North America during the late Cretaceous period, about 99 to 66 million years ago. It was about the size of a modern goose and had a long neck and legs. Another early anseriform is Vagabis. Vagabis lived in Antarctica during the late Cretaceous period, about 99 to 66 million years ago. It was the size of a modern-day duck and had a long neck and legs. Vagabis is thought to be the first waterfowl. Over time, anseriforms evolved into a variety of different waterfowl, including ducks, geese, and now swans. Ducks first appeared during the Pliocene epoch, about 66 to 56 million years ago. These early ducks were very similar to modern ducks, but they were slightly smaller and had less pronounced facial features. So the next on our list is the penguins. So the ancestors of penguins are thought to have been a group of flightless birds called spheniciforms. Spheniciforms first appeared in Eocene epoch, about 56 33.9 million years ago. They were small aquatic birds with short wings and paddle-like feet. One of the earliest known cyneiforms is Weimar Manaring. Weimar Manaring lived in New Zealand during the Eocene epoch. It was about the size of a modern-day loon and had a short wings and paddle-like feet. Weimar Manaringi is thought to have been the ancestor of all modern penguins. Over time, swarms evolved into larger, more penguin-like creatures. One of these creatures is Anthroponus. Anthroponus lived in Antarctica during the Oligocene, about 33.9 to 23.03 million years old. It was about the size of a modern-day emperor penguin and had a short wings and paddle-like feet. The first true penguins appeared during the Miocene, about 23.03 to 5.333 million years ago. These early penguins were very similar to modern penguins, but they were slightly smaller and had less pronounced facial features. So next is the snails, which we know, as most of us know, it's very slow. So the ancestors of snails are thought to have been a group of primitive gastropods called Strepodiscs and the Chippewa. These gastropods lived in late Cambrian period, about 500 million years ago. They were small, shellless creatures with a spiral body and a radula, which is a ribbon-like tongue with rows of teeth. Over time, Strepodiscs and Chippewa evolved into larger, more shelled gastropods. One of these gastropods is Bellerophon. Bellerophon lived in Ordovician period, about 484 to 444 million years ago. It had a spiral shell that could be opened and closed. Bellerophon is thought to have been the ancestor of all modern snails. Over time, Siphonous forms evolved into larger, more penguin-like creatures. One of these creatures is the Anthroponus. Anthroponus lived in Antarctica during the Oligocene epoch, about 33.9 to 23%. The ancestors of snails are thought to have been a small group of primitive. Wait, I think it's done. So the next one is the octopuses. So the octopus's ancestor are thought to have been a small group of castellophods called Vampyropodida. Vampyropodida first appeared in the Cambrian period about 500 million years ago. They were small squid-like creatures with 10 or more arms and suckers. One of the earliest known Vampyropodida is Nectoracanus. Nectoracanus lived in Germany during the Cambrian period. It was about the size of a modern-day nautilus and had 10 arms and suckers. Nectoracanus is thought to have been ancestor of all modern octopuses. Over time, Vampyropodida evolved into larger, more octopus-like creatures. One of these creatures is Silpomorphodidani. Silpomorphodidani lived in Montana during the Ordovician period, about 48.5 to 444 million years ago. It was about the size of a modern-day octopus and had 10 arms and suckers. Silpomorphodidani is the oldest form of fossil of an octopus ancestor. The first true octopuses appeared in the Devonian period, about 419 to 359 million years ago. These early octopuses were very similar to modern octopuses, but they had slightly smaller and less pronounced facial features. So the next one on our list is one of the last, crabs. So the ancestors of crabs are thought to have been a small group of crustaceans called decadapods. Decadapods first appeared in the Devonian period, about 419 to 359 million years ago. They were small shrimp-like creatures with 10 legs and a segmented body. One of the earliest known decapods is the Paleocaris. The Paleocaris lived in North America during the Devonian period. It was about the size of a modern day shrimp and had 10 legs and a segmented body. Paleocaris is thought to have been the ancestor of all modern decapods, including crabs. Over time, decapods evolved into more crab-like creatures. One of these creatures is Juramia Maya. Juramaya lived in Germany during the Jurassic period, about 201 to 145 million years. It was about the size of a modern-day crab and had a short tail and large claws. Juramia is the oldest known fossil of a crab ancestor. The first crabs appeared in the Cretaceous period, about 145 to 66 million years ago. These early crabs were very similar to modern crabs, but they had slightly smaller and less pronounced facial features. So the animals are done. So the next thing, are dinosaurs related to birds? So the answer is yes. Dinosaurs are related to birds. Birds are actually a group of dinosaurs called theropods. Theropods were bipedal, two-legged dinosaurs with hollow bones, three-toed feet, and sharp teeth. Some theropods, such as the velociraptor and the Deinosuchus, was closely related to the birds. Fossil record shows the birds evolved from theropods over time. Archaeopteryx, a fossil bird from the late Jurassic period, is a traditional form between dinosaurs and birds. It had feathers, wings, and a wishbone as a bird, like a bird, but it also had a long tail and a teeth, which are dinosaur features. Other fossil birds from the late Jurassic and early Cretaceous period showed even more bird-like features, such as shorter tails and beaks. By the late Cretaceous periods, true birds had evolved. Today, birds are the only surviving dinosaurs. They are the living proof of evolutionary connection between dinosaurs and birds. Here are some of the evidence that support the close relationship between dinosaurs and birds. Skeletal similarities. Birds and dinosaurs have many skeletal similarities, including hollow bones, three-toed feet, and a wishbone. Feathers. Fossils of many non-avian dinosaurs have been found with feathers, suggesting that feathers evolved in dinosaurs before birds. Nesting behavior. Many dinosaurs built nests and laid eggs just like birds. DNA evidence. Sequencing studies have shown that birds are most closely related to a group of dinosaurs called Maniraptora. Maniraptora. Overall, scientific evidence is clear. Birds are the today present dinosaurs. So, how about we move on to the fun facts? So, here are some very good fun facts I have. The world's smallest mammal is the bumblebee bat. It weighs just 0.2 grams, which is about the same as a penny. It is so small it can fit inside a teaspoon. That's so small. The world's longest living animal is the coho clam. It can live up to 500 years old. That means some of the coho clams that are alive today were alive when Columbus sailed down to America. Fact number 3. The world's smallest land animal is the dwarf gecko. It's about the size of a penny and just weighs about 0.1115 grams. It's so small it can fit on the tip of your fingertip. The world's longest living bird is the albatross. It can live up to 60 years old. That some of the albatross that are alive today were alive when the World War II ended. The most poisonous animal in the book is the box jellyfish. Its sting can be a fatal to humans. Just a tiny amount of its venom can kill an adult human in minutes. So now is the Q&A session. If you want to ask questions, you can ask now. Does anyone have any questions? I guess no. Ma'am,
Zakir?
yeah, no one has any questions, I think.
And do you want to ask any questions, dear? No. Abigail. Do you have any question, Abigail?
No, ma'am.
No. Who is this user? Who is user?
That's Amina, ma'am.
Amina. Oh,
Amina Mangat.
Amina Mangat. Okay. Amina? Do you have any
Amina-
question?
No.
No. Okay. Bildan can ask some questions then. Yes, Bildan. Come on. Bildan? Bildan is also not responding. Then you can ask some questions, Zakir. You can call anyone randomly and ask questions.
Okay, this question is to Ryan. Which is the smallest mammal on the planet?
Mm,
Then you can ask to Google.
is it turtles?
No, it's not turtles. I'm talking about mammals.
Mm,
You can search if you want.
okay, I'm searching. I'm using my best friend Google for this.
Your best friend is Google.
Well, my second best friend. Well, no, my third. What is the smallest mammal on Earth? I got an answer.
Yeah,
Hold
Abigail
on.
will give you the answer.
They are bats. There's
Abigail.
bats.
Yeah, it is bats.
Okay.
And house mouse.
It's called bumblebee bats.
Okay, bumblebee.
Wait. Huh? So is it like a bat, but it's a bumblebee?
No, it's like as small as a bumblebee.
How though? How do you get that small?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, second question, Zakir. Yes.
Okay, this question is to who's Raz?
Result.
Azza.
Result.
Azza.
Yeah, ma'am.
From
Ma'am,
Azza.
yeah. Ma'am,
This
a
question-
brother, I have a small brother, so we call it as Raz.
Yeah, Raza. Okay, good. Okay, Raza can answer. I thought it's Russell.
No, ma'am, it's me.
Ah, okay, dear. You can answer.
Okay, the question is why wait a second. What is the not smallest, what is the longest living animal on the planet?
The longest animal.
No, the longest living animal.
Yes. He's talking about.
What is the longest living animal?
Yeah.
Long, yeah. Mm, yeah, ma'am, I think so. Ocean quahog, ma'am. I searched in Google and I got it like ocean quahog
That is the
clam.
correct answer, but it's pronounced the quahog clam.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it, ma'am.
Nice question. That's all, Zakir.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question from the attendees? No, it was quite informative, Zakir. You shared a lot of information and you presented really well. Your slides
I
were...
have a question, ma'am.
Oh, yes, Abhigay.
Why did you choose this topic?
It's interesting
Because
question.
I really like animals.
Okay, he's an
Okay.
animal lover. Who is selected? Good one. Any more questions? Fabina ma'am, are you here?
Yes, ma'am, I'm curious. Yes. Okay, ma'am, if there is no questions, I think we can wind it.
Okay.
Yes, Zakir, it was a nice session, Zakir. Got a
Thank
lot
you,
of
ma'am.
information. It's very helpful. Thank you, Zakir.
Okay, ma'am.
Welcome.
She's not here, I think. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, dear. Good night.